Hello everyone, my name is For Extraordinaire, and it has been ages, it seems, since I've been back to the City Lights mod, and I'm here for no other reason other than to just shine a light on the huge new update that the developers have put out. They've been working so hard on this mod, and I just wanted to bring a spotlight to it, at least as big as a spotlight as I can with my small channel, and just really shine some kind of light on the huge efforts. Just monumental. I don't think any adjectives in the English dictionary describe just how much effort these people have put into this mod, and it looks so good. But basically, I've been kind of fawning over it a bit. But the City Lights mod, if you guys don't know, it's the reason why I started my channel, just to showcase some of the few features that the mod had in its earlier stages. And it basically offers a huge new urban overhaul and a rural overhaul too. You can specialize your cities a lot more with unique districts, like urban centers with cities, and then rural districts. To kind of just simulate a much more accurate urban versus rural sprawl. Obviously, you're not just going to have a few districts plopped around, kind of like in Civ 6, where your city is a weird mesh, a weird hybrid between urban and rural, but you have this very dynamic and complex patchwork of cities, and then unique improvements and canneries. And now there's a huge new addition with the feature of wonders, which the developer Albro, who I've talked to very briefly, it's one of the basic reasons he wanted to start the City Lights mod out, from my understanding. And it is super important to just really tie together the whole urban versus rural sprawl and kind of give more details of the cities. So let's just talk about that really quickly. So it's been a really long time, I've mentioned before, since I've been into the City Lights mod, but I wanted to start off with like a forward from the author Albro, and then just jump really quickly into the different wonders that he's presented. There's 5, I believe, 1 for each specialty district type, and there may be more to come. But without further ado, I always like the National Wonder System in Civ 5 as a way of further empowering single cities, encouraging tall play, and rewarding city planning, even though their exact implementation in-game at times felt a bit limiting, and I can definitely agree with that. This mod aims to bring back the National Wonder System, but in a manner that fits better with Civ 6 design. The National Wonder System in this mod takes a lot of cues from Civ 5, with certain National Wonders making a return, while still hopefully allowing for the more dynamic play at Civ 6's love for. And it's a very interesting choice that he's chosen to go along the route of National Wonders. These wonders specifically aren't like you grab one and it's like one and done, as far as I know, but these are more specific to your civilization, and they add unique perks, so you're not going to have to rush and kind of deal with that frustrating gameplay. But there are unique wonders, and they add their own little buffs, and I just wanted to get onto them very quickly. But we have this, for those who are unfamiliar with previous Civ games and National Wonders, they basically work as follows. National Wonders are buildings that are limited to 1 per civilization, as opposed to normal wonders, 1 per game. This means that each civilization in the game will have the opportunity to build a copy of these wonders. However, they may only build them once, so you're not going to have a bunch of national libraries spam throughout your empire. That would be kind of weird, which makes sense. National Wonders have special requirements for unlocking the ability to build them. In Civ 5, this usually meant having a certain prerequisite building built in all cities in your empire. For example, in order to be allowed to build the National Treasury, you need a market, and vice versa. So the National Wonder System in Civ 6 will basically follow these same 2 principles. However, the special requirement system will be a bit more varied and less restrictive. And they're also tile-based like regular wonders. They trigger similar wonder mechanics, and they also cost less production to build than their era equivalent wonders, which is very nice. He's not going the hard or the ham-fisted route where it's going to be even more ridiculous and more time-consuming to build these, which is really great for just time management and making sure that the game isn't too much of a production hole. So now we have the actual wonders. There's individual requirements for these, which I assume he'll get onto. But the first is the National Theme Park, and I think the wonders come after, like maybe around modern era, or a bit before that with the industrial. But we have the National Theme Park. It's unlocked with the Mass Media Civic, and it can only be built once in your empire. You also have to have 4 entertainment complexes, so you're going to have to go out of your way to build this one. And then it also produces gold and amenity bonuses to all cities within 6 tiles. Very powerful if you're a civ like Scotland, or if you really are lacking on amenities. And it also grants, this is crucial, but it also grants +5 tourism to all entertainment complexes or water park districts within 6 tiles. And this could be very powerful if you could get something like Canada up and you already have synergy with entertainment complex districts, so you could really just be pumping that out like crazy. Next we have The abilities for this are the just base buffs. It gives +2 gold, +4 gold if powered, +2 amenities, and then another +2 amenities if powered, just for its base yields. That's not counting its synergistic effect here with the entertainment complexes. So it's not really just, you're not building it just for the base effects, but you're also building it for the synergy with entertainment complexes. And as City Lights continues to show, there is a lot of nuance with this mod. And there's some quick notes. This National Wonder is probably the most straightforward, which is really saying something. That basically it functions as an even more powerful stadium and will ensure that all your cities built within its 6-tile range will have their amenities paid for. And then it also has a secondary effect for tourism. We basically talked about that. Next, we have the National Epic. And this has a culture focus, so it's tied to the theater square. It's unlocked with nationalism, so yeah, coming a lot later. And then it can only be built once in your empire, and then you have to be built. So you have to be in a golden age. So you're really just going to have to make sure you time your production correctly. If you don't have a lot of production in a certain city and you really wanted to get it and you're in a golden age, you might have a bit of trouble. And it also grants plus 20% great person points, +1 production, and then an additional slot or additional slots for great works of writing, which are doubled furthermore in golden ages, which could really, really be powerful with certain civs like Georgia. So there's definitely a lot of nuance and subtlety with this mod, and when you time certain civs and with even their own unique improvements that this mod adds, which is in of itself a wholly different topic, and I can do another video on that if you guys want to see more in-depth stuff about City Lights. But for the base yields, it has +2 production and +2 culture, again, not too significant, and then +1 slot for a great work of writing. So you're really just getting this for the great person point generation, which should really sync well with Brazil. And now for some quick notes, this National Wonder is the first returning feature from previous Civ games. Its effect is similar to Civ 5, but it also puts a new focus on the Golden Age mechanic. Interesting. Now, we have the Grand Citadel, and I'm really loving it. This is probably my favorite design, which is kind of ironic because I rarely build encampment districts since I am a very passive and defensive player. This unlocks with siege tactics coming a lot earlier, I think around the medieval era, so you could build this a lot earlier. And I don't know if it'll keep its Eastern design for, there's even a video linked to this, I could watch it later, but there's even a video for, and I wonder if he has the Sean Bean quotes. But anyhow, there's even a video attached to the little Grand Citadel here, and I'm going to assume it has some military focuses, and it provides the same defensive bonuses as the fort improvement, +4 combat strength, and +1 movement for all ranged and siege units within 10 tiles. And then when at war, fort improvements actually gain production, science, and culture, which is great because in the base game, unless you're like super militaristic and you have some loyalty pressures, problems where you want to build forts near to flipping cities or nearby flipping cities, and you're like super paranoid, that's like the only reason you'll build forts. This actually gives you a reason to build a ton of forts, and it's just affects everything, every fort across your empire, and these are yields that are like very significant. So if you are really militaristic and you just want to make sure you have a stable reign and you're not having too many free cities rebelling from a recent war, just build a ton of forts, slap this bad boy down. Not only will it look amazing, it's a massive wonder, but it's also going to give your forts some really, really powerful bonuses. And then for the notes, the Grand Citadel is a great national wonder for performing a powerful timing attack on your neighbor. And of course, it provides great mobility and strength and some other bonuses to the force that we talked about. All right, this next bad boy is the National College, and this is probably my second most favorite design after the Grand Citadel. They are really hitting the Civ 6 aesthetic out of the park. There are a few discrepancies, of course, with the design, as there always will be, but this probably synergizes the most with the base game design for the campus. I love how it's just basically a massive university complex, and it unlocks at education, so there is some scaling. Some national wonders will be available earlier than others, which makes sense, because obviously you're not going to really care about your people's amenities too much earlier on as like some kind of burgeoning or like new empire, but science and like literacy is always going to be important to an empire, especially when educating nobles and whatnot. So this unlocks at education around the medieval era. You get plus 50% science in the city. Huge, especially with the Maya. This bonus is lowered by 5% science for each additional city in your empire. So very, very tall. Probably the best wonder for the Maya. And then the minimum is plus 10% science. So there's an actual cap. If you're a wide civ, you could probably just have no use for this wonder whatsoever, unless you're really, really struggling behind on science, in which case I guess you'd need this. But again, base yield's not too impressive, +3 science, +2 great people points, and again, you're only getting this for the huge science bonus here, and it gives you a reason to go tall. But it just wouldn't feel right to add in the national wonders without including the infamous National College. This building was a meta-defining feature in Civ 5, and indeed it was, though I don't have too much experience with Civ 5 meta, as I didn't play the game too much. And in Civ 6, it features a similar effect, though now with a very significant caveat, and that's basically, if you're, as I explained earlier, you don't want to build this if you're wide, or else you're going to get screwed over so much. And then we have the final wonder complex. Man, these things have so much detail, but I understand why you don't only want to go for 5 national wonders, especially. There's room for more, but just with how many wonders there are in the base game, I think probably the most wonders in a Civ game ever, you would not want to go too heavy on the complexity here. But we have the Grand Temple for our capstone, I guess, no pun intended, for the new update, and basically it unlocks it theology kind of around the medieval era, the Renaissance era, and this grants a bonus to each worship building from your religion constructed, and then all your cities gain an additional 25% religious spread from adjacent city pressure, and 10% further religious spread range. So this could function super well, or synergize well with faith civs like Gandhi or Saladin, who love to just go heavy on their religion and are almost guaranteed a religion. And he also has some notes for this, but it must be built adjacent to a holy site district, and you must have founded a religion, so there are those caveats. But this is probably definitely geared towards a religious victory. And so for his notes, the last natural wonder or national wonder in the first release is another returning feature, the Grand Temple. In Civ 5, it simply provided a large amount of faith and religious pressure in the city it was built in. In Civ 6, it features a similar themed effect, though implemented in a different way. Basically, if you found a religion and choose, for example, the mosque as your religious building, for each mosque you have in one of your cities, all your cities gain additional stacking passive religious spread, pressure, and range. So again, very potent if you want to go for a religious victory route. And he's just basically trying to not completely rework Civ 6 Albro, but he wants to add a new flair as far as I can understand. But again, I'm super happy and impressed with the effort here. Again, monumental, I guess pun intended there, but just really, again, blown away by the amount of effort and work towards this mod just by itself, and all the people that step forward to really pump out some amazing content for the Civ 6 base game. And again, just kudos to the team behind them, or behind this mod, City Lights. And I will be linking a link to the mod, I think, in the description if you guys want to check that out. And if you want to see some City Lights content from me, there's not too much going on right now. I'm just reviewing dev diaries, but if you want to see something like that, please let me know. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see some more City Lights content out in the future. But thank you guys again, and this has been Civ Extraordinaire, well, formerly Civ Extraordinaire, now 4 Extraordinaire, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. All right, love you guys. Bye.